In this video, I'll be showing you how you can grab some test tokens and use that in Eclipse for your development needs. And it does require a number of steps that I have outlined here, and we'll take it one by one to see how we can do that. Eclipse is a layer 2 that leverages the Solana virtual machine to bring about the ability to undo huge number of transactions and TPS, bringing the pros of Solana without any of the downsides. It's pretty cool, and if you want to check it out, I will leave this link in the description of this video so you can see and read more about it. According to the steps I have here, the very first thing we need to do is to install Solana CLI, which we're going to do by following this guide. I have gone ahead to do that behind the scene, and I would rather not stay there. So if you are seeing this, just go to this documentation and you would be able to um, see the tutorial that fits your use case and your machine needs. For Mac and OS user, this is it. For Windows user, this is what I follow because I use a Windows machine, and that should get you set up. So let's go back to our list and tick that off if you haven't. One way to check if your installation was successful is to go to your terminal and type Solana version. If it uploads a version number, that means everything is good and you can go to the next step. Next step is to set up Eclipse wallet and grab the public key. To do that, we can follow the steps in the documentation, which says the quick start hello world. And I'll also leave this in the description so that you can see the steps. And we'll go to the part where it says wallet setup, so we can follow the steps there. And it says to get our Eclipse public address. There are two variants here: the Solana keygen new out file wallet addressing and the Solana keygen new no out file. Out file will give you a wallet addressing file with the instructions and a word. So I'm just going to eat that. You will be required to press a password key. I'm going to do just that. And that would create a new file, wallet addressing, and show me a public key and the seed phrase to my new Eclipse account. So once this is done, we can go to the next step, which is to create, just mark this as done for the sake of that. So this is done. Let's go to the next step, which is to create a MetaMask account and grab our private key. I would not be creating a new MetaMask account. I already have a MetaMask account that I use for testing. In your case, if you do not install the MetaMask extension, and the links to do that will also be in the description, or you can create a new account for use. For this demonstration, I'll be using Hugo to demonstrate, and that is important for what comes next. I'm just going to mark this as done on my hand. And for the next step, we're going to get Sepolia Ethereum from Alchemy Faucet. There's several faucets out there. I prefer to use Alchemy because I already have a number of the requirements checked. And most of those faucets require some things nowadays. It differs from one another. For this, you need to have an account on Alchemy and you need to have a mainnet balance of 0.0018 on your wallet address being used. I do not have any of that right now, but I have an account where I owed some tokens for testing and I have gone ahead to transfer some of that to Hugo. And as you can see, we have 0.029 Sepolia ETH on this account. And that is what I'm going to use to demonstrate. But in your case, if you do not have test tokens, please, this step is important because this is the test tokens that we're going to move from Sepolia over to our Eclipse testnet address. So if you do not have, grab some tokens. If you do have, we can go ahead to go to the next step. So now let's deposit Ethereum from Sepolia to Eclipse using the script. The documentation already outlines the step. We need to create a deposit, and that will transfer the Sepolia ETH from our MetaMask wallet to our account on the Eclipse testnet. So we're going to go to this GitHub repository that they've lighted. It is testnet deposit. I'm just gonna close this and just focus on this one. And this is the GitHub address. I'm also gonna leave this in the description so that you can follow along. And we need to set this up so that we can run the scripts. And the usual way will be to set it up on your machine, install yarn and whatnot. But I prefer to do things differently, and I would love to show you Stargate. So I'm going to use Stargate, which would give us and set up a new environment for us in our browser. where we can run this code to install everything we need without having to clone any of this to our machine. It's straightforward and easier to use. And I prefer this for things like this that require just one time use. So that's going to run yarn install, setup and scaffold the progress, and we will be ready to go in no time. So I'm going to pause this video until that is done. And that is it. We've now completed the installation and setup of the project. Let me clear the terminal, clear, and we can run the next steps. So it says according to the documentation that we need to execute this script, node deposit.js, and we need to replace this particular section with our Solana address. We need to enter the amount we want to transfer in GUI. We want to enter the transaction fee in GUI, and we want to enter the private key of our MetaMask account, Ethereum private key that contains the Sepolia ETH, and we want to add this RPC URL to the end. So it's a long list of things to do. So I'm just going to copy this and go to our X laboratory and go right at the bottom, just paste this here. And we're going to replace it one by one with the things that's needed. So my Solana address is going to be this that we created. Yeah, I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to go right here and replace this with Solana address. That is done. This is done. Amount in GUI, and according to the documentation, the amount in GUI, this is if you have an amount 0.0015, this is what is going to be in GUI. So I'm just going to copy this, and the minimum is 1500000 GUI. So I'm just going to copy that and replace this with the amount in GUI, and then I'm going to go back here and see we need to put a fee in GUI. This is transaction processing fee, and it's currently ignored, but you can set it to 100 GUI. So I'm just going to do right that and go here and set it to 100, right? And then the next step is to replace this with the Ethereum private key. The Ethereum private key right here refers to the account that contains the Sepolia ETH. You need to get the private key of this account that contains the Sepolia ETH for use. So I'm just going to copy the private key of this account. You go to account details on your MetaMask wallet, show private key. You will need to enter your password. You will need to enter your password. And you need to do like a quick captcha. Show you your private key. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my code. I'm going to replace this with the private key. I'm going to copy everything, cut it. Oh no, just I'm going to copy everything and go to my terminal, paste it, and hit enter. And if everything is done successfully, and if everything was done correctly, you should see a transaction successful. And this indicates that we successfully transferred 0.00158 from our MetaMask wallet to my Solana address, which is my Eclipse address as well. To confirm that, I'm going to copy this transaction hash and go to Etherscan. I'm going to paste this here, and we're going to see that that is complete. So you can see a value of 0.0015001 ETH has been involved in the transaction somehow, and it went from this to this, which is essentially a bridge contract, I would say. Went from this to this, and you remember that looks like 3A6E, and that looks like this 3A6E, which is one of the parameters that we passed in the one of the arguments that we passed to the script we ran. One of the arguments that we passed to the script we ran. On that note, we can also transfer that the value has been received. If I go copy my public key, so my Eclipse public key, and I go to the Eclipse Explorer, which you can see here, this card will be left in the description of the video because it's very comprehensive and you can always follow it. So I'm going to go right here, Eclipse Explorer. Oh, on that note, let me check out this part of this because I think we are done with it. And this part is what we are looking at right now. So look up transaction on Eclipse Explorer. So if I go to the Eclipse Explorer and I paste the public key of mine, it's similar to this, TJQ, TJQ, I should see an equivalent of 0.0015 testnet token. So I'm going to do just that. And if everything is correct, as you can see, the balance of this wallet is 0.0015. And that is how to get some test tokens from Sepolia Ethereum and move it over to Eclipse for your development purposes. I would leave a number of these links in the description of the video so you can always refer back to them and use. Let me know what you're building on Eclipse, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. Until next time, my next video, I remain Core. Thank you.